Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another glorious day. Today we're going to be talking about classifying triangles. I know that one of the last videos you watched was about classifying quadrilaterals, and it had a lot of pieces to it. Thankfully, triangles are a little easier. So you will need this notes page. There will be instructions so that you know where to find it. Just like the last time, once you complete them, fold it in half, put glue on one side, glue it into your notebook. That way you can open the flap and see your notes. If you have issues or you're not sure what to do, if it's just not working right, let me know or ask a friend and we will get you set up correctly. All right, so let's take a look at this. Triangles are classified in two different ways: by their sides and by their angles. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at the sides. So you'll see here that we've got a brace map going on, and we have two that are connected and then one that's out here by itself. And when we look up at this first box, we notice that the ones that are underneath it will always be classified under the other. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is an isosceles. It's spelled I-S-O-S-C-E-L-E-S. Isosceles. Kind of a funky word, definitely one you need to make sure that you are studying with flashcards. Isosceles triangles have at least two sides the same length. Okay, so what this looks like is that these would be equal, but maybe this isn't. Okay, or maybe you've got it and it looks like this and these two are equal, but this one isn't. But it can also include ones that all of them are equal, as long as it's got at least two sides that are the same length. Okay. Now, the next one that is also always going to be isosceles is equilateral. So Equilateral, equilateral. And an equilateral triangles have three sides that are the same length. So always the same length. Always, 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 always. No matter what way you turn it, all the sides are equal. So if you look at that equal, just remember, oh, well, equilateral means that all the sides are equal. And then you have a scalene, S-C-A-L-E-N-E. Scalene triangles have no sides that are the same length. So for instance, okay, this one is a different length from this one, which is a different length from this one, and none of them are equal. Okay. No sides the same length. Okay. Equilateral triangles are also always isosceles triangles. Scalene is just by itself. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now, comparing them by their angles. The first one is going to be a right triangle. Now we know that with angles, a right angle is 90 degrees. Okay, so right triangles have at least one right angle. Okay, which means that it is 90 degrees. So there's one. There's another one. There's another one. As long as it has at least one right angle, it's a right triangle. Okay. Now we have acute. Now we know that an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Okay, so acute triangles have 3 acute angles. Okay, so less than 90 degrees. And finally, obtuse. And we know that obtuse angles are more than 90, but less than 180 degrees. Okay, so obtuse is more than 90 degrees, but less than 180. So for instance, that angle is obtuse. That angle is obtuse. That angle is obtuse, okay? So triangles are pretty straightforward. They are either isosceles, equilateral, or scalene, or right, acute, and obtuse. Now you can mix the two and determine based on the length of the sides and the angles. It may be a right isosceles triangle, because you can have a triangle with one right angle that has at least two sides that are the same length. In fact, we created one right here. That's a right angle, so that's a right isosceles triangle. Equilaterals have 3 sides that are the same length. For equilateral triangles, most of the time those are going to be acute triangles because their angles are always going to be less than 90 degrees. Scalene triangles have no sides that are the same length, so it allows them to be a little crazier. Okay, you could have a scalene triangle that has at least one obtuse angle, so it could be an obtuse scalene. It totally depends on the triangle, and you're going to have to pay attention to how many sides are equal and what type of angles it has. Okay. All right, one last thing that I want you to know about triangles is that the measurement of the angles always equals 180. So the total of all angles in a triangle equals 180 degrees. Always. Always, 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 always. Okay. So if you're having to measure the angles, that may be something that can help you, is knowing that these angles always equal 180 degrees. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.